everybody, and welcome to another episode of Freaking Awesome Italian. Today we're going to learn something that is a little bit tougher, but it's probably one of the more tougher things of the Italian language. But when you're learning this, just remember that something that's tough for Italian is laughably easy for a lot of other languages. Just be grateful you're not learning Russian or Finnish or a lot of the languages that have a lot of really tough grammar. Italian overall is a pretty easy language, all things considered. This is just one of the tougher aspects of it. What it is we're going to do the present perfect, and if you remember, we've done the present perfect in the past. That's where you say like mangiare, to eat, right? Mangio, I eat. Ho mangiato, I ate in the past, right? We covered that a few lessons ago. The problem is that we only covered avere verbs that use avere as the auxiliary verb. What we're going to cover today is the ones that use a different auxiliary verb, which is essere, to be. I know that sounds really confusing, so just let me explain this to you. It's not as scary as it sounds. Basically, 80% of the verbs in the Italian language use avere, so that's what we learned before, right? Remember that avere means to have, and that's what we do in English too, right? Ho mangiato, I have eaten, which is another way of saying I ate, right? I have eaten. And that's most of the verbs in Italian are like that. Ho mangiato, ho dormito, ho cantato, right? It's pretty easy. But there are those 20%. Oh yeah, there you go. There are the examples. Ho mangiato, hai scritto, hanno dormito, right? They have slept, they slept. Avete perso, you, plural, have lost, right? So that's what we saw before. There are the 20% though that use essere, which is to be, to make the present perfect tense. Andare, to go, right? The past participle is andato, but we don't use avere, we use essere. So we say io vado, in the present, I go. Io sono andato, I went, right? Io sono is I am went, right? You can see this in English too, in really old English. We don't do this anymore. But for example, in some of the old Christmas carols, when they're singing and they say, rejoice, rejoice, the Lord is come, right? The Lord is come instead of has come, right? Because that is, you can see little remnants of that in older English, but we don't do that anymore in English now. It's all have, right? But in Italian, we still use is or to be for about 20% of the verbs. Okay, so the trick is just to know when to use avere, when to use essere. Basically, when you learn a new verb, when you look it up in the dictionary or when you see it and you learn it and write it into your flashcards, you're going to be writing three things now. You're going to be writing the infinitive, like, for example, mangiare. You're going to be writing the past participle, which would be like mangiato. And you're going to be writing it if it's an avere verb or an essere verb. With those three things, you know how to make the present tense and the present perfect tense. So there's something else that's interesting about essere verbs. That is this. They have to match in gender and number with the subject of the sentence, with the person that's doing the verb. This is different from avere verbs. Avere verbs don't change, but essere verbs change based on gender and number. So it depends on who is doing the verb, who is the subject of the verb. Their gender and their number is what changes the past participle. So let's look at some examples of this. Ho cantato, right? Abbiamo cantato, hanno cantato, lei ha cantato. These are all avere verbs. You use avere to do it, so it doesn't change. Look, it's always cantato, no matter who's doing it, no matter the number, or no matter the gender. It doesn't change. But with essere verbs, like for example, andare, right? Andare, to go. The past participle is andato. We saw that before. This one changes depending on gender and number. So, io sono andato if I'm a man, but sono andata if I'm a woman. See that ending of andare, andato, changes to an a to make it feminine if it's a woman who's saying it. So it depends on who's doing the verb. Io sono andato for a man. Sono andata for a woman. It means I went. Sei andato. You went if you're talking to a man. Sei andata. You went if you're talking to a woman. Lui è andato. Lei è andata. See that? So it changes by gender. And it changes for number too. Noi siamo andati. Right? If it's all men or if it's mixed gender, it would be siamo andati. If it's all women, siamo andate. Siamo andate. Right? So it matches the gender and number of the person that's doing the verb. That's the part that makes this a little bit more trickier just because you have to pay attention in your mind to who's doing the verb if it's an essere verb and then match it accordingly. So it takes a little bit of practice at first. It's just one more thing to keep track of in your mind, but after you do it enough times, it'll come naturally to you. It'll start coming naturally to you. It's just a little bit tricky at first because you have to remember, pay attention to the gender and number only if it's an essere verb, not an avere verb. So that is a lot of information that I just threw at you. I want to practice this. Oh, sorry, one more example. Siete andati, siete andate, right? So that's you plural. Siete andati, if it's all men, you guys went, or mixed gender. Siete andate, if it's all women. Sono andati, sono andate. That's they went. They went for all men or mixed gender, for women. Sono andati, sono andate. So that is a lot of information. That's why I want to practice this, drill it, just so that you can get a hang of it, making them yourself, not just recognizing them, but making them. So I gave you a list on the left of the subject, right, of the pronoun, and of the gender and number of that pronoun. And we're going to be using venire, which the past participle is venuto, to conjugate the present perfect of for each one of these subjects. So you go ahead and pause the video, write them all down, do that, and then we'll check them. Okay, so the first one, I, being a male, sono venuto. I came. Sono venuto. Next one, I, if I'm a female, sono venuta. Sono venuta. The O becomes A, right? To make it feminine, singular. We, if it's a group of all females, siamo venute. Siamo venute. We are come. And venute is plural, feminine. You guys, you plural, mixed gender. Siete venuti. Siete venuti. She came. È venuta. È venuta. They, a group of all males, sono venuti. Sono venuti. And by the way, I know that sono is the same for I and for they, right? But don't worry about that. You're never going to mix it up when you're doing this, because if it's a singular ending, venuto or venuta, you know it's I, right? And if it's venuti or venute, you know it's they, right? Because you can't have a plural with I, because I is singular. I hope that makes sense. So the next one, you, singular, male. Sei venuto. You, plural, you guys, all females. Siete venute. Siete venute. He è venuto. È venuto. They, all females. Sono venute. Sono venute. And you, singular, a female. Sei venuta. Sei venuta. So, how do you know when a verb is an essere verb or an avere verb? There's no hard and fast rule. So I can't give you a rule that 100% of the time will let you identify if a verb uses essere or avere. You have to look it up. But it's not completely arbitrary. Usually, essere verbs are things that you do with your whole body, with your whole being. That's essere. It's when you... it's kind of hard to describe. It's not really an action that you do with like your hands or with your, I don't know, it's something that happens to you, that you do to your whole body. So in order to help you, I made some beautiful artwork. I love it. It's made by yours truly. You can find it only here, exclusive at Freaking Awesome Italian, with my amazing paint skills. Basically, this is called the House of Essere, and this is a tool that's used by Italian teachers all over the world when they're teaching this lesson, because it's just it's a house to give you an idea of things that you do in a house, going to a house, coming out of a house, right? Born, dying, going up the stairs, going down the stairs, leaving, entering, just a bunch of verbs that you do around the house that all use essere. These are all essere verbs, right? So this is just a little image just to help you learn some of the most common essere verbs that people use all the time that you do around the house, right? So if someone asks you, where were you born? They would say, dove sei nato, if you're a man, or dove sei nata, if you're a woman. Nato, nata, see that, to be born. And you would say, sono nato, and then you'd say where you were born, right? Or sono nata, if you're a woman, right? So let's say you're going to the house, you have andare, andato, right? So you say sono andato, or sono andata, sono arrivato, o arrivata, sono venuto, sono venuta, sono entrato, sono entrata. See that? So all of these verbs that you see on this page are all essere verbs. There you go. I hope that this wasn't too complicated for you. I'm sure that with a bit of practice, you'll be able to do it naturally. It'll just come to you. It's just a little bit complicated at first. I hope that this has helped. That's all I have for you today. So, arrivederci. Thanks for watching.